Coakley comes over to Christina, bending down to admire her prey. Her long white hair falls, brushing Christina's face. The water is cold. Christina wants to dodge but can't move. She can only stare at Coakley's bright red eyes.
What happened back then that infuriated you to the point of committing such a serious act at such a young age?
How did she get away with it, by the way, if she stabbed a Paradiso's representative?
Did the assassination succeed? Did you kill the person you hated to the bone?
Christina avoids her gaze, grits her teeth. She struggles to sneeze out an answer.
It wasn't like that, and it has nothing to do with you. I won't tell you.
So, the assassination failed. What a pity. You clearly have talent. You even became a sinner. As an assassin, an avenger, a person ignited by rage and burning everything, you have a talent for violence and destruction. Just like the flowers here. That's why that woman kept you by her side. Give up on your talk of justice. It's just a lie concocted by your Shalom, a chain she uses to bind you. Doesn't the case at hand prove this?
That is true, but a mentor is probably also manipulating her.
Anania, a shallow and vain woman, stands on moral high ground to denounce others. After hurting others, she got scared out of her wits. But in a few days, she whitewashed herself and returned to the high ground. That Nathan, a dirty syndicate dog, attaches himself to a morally corrupt counselor and has countless deaths on his hands. 10 years have passed. If it weren't for me, would anyone have penalized him? Where's your justice then?
The weak detective remains silent for a moment, then looks back into Coakley's eyes.
You're not the first person to say that to me. Because the world is so dark, justice doesn't exist. So it's okay for us to cross the line. It's just an excuse to cover up your own misdeeds. I've read all the Garden's files. You keep talking about vengeance, but what you're really doing is spreading mania with prohibited weapons. You contaminate a dozen civilians by killing one target. There are several cases of indiscriminate attacks on the FAC, all to undermine the anti-mania efforts. Because the world is a mess, your own evil deeds don't matter? Bullshit! Don't gloss over the bad things you've done, you're just as immoral. You're part of the evil. How many civilians in the city-state turn pale at the mention of the Garden? How many vile criminals imitate its actions to harm the innocent? Are you in total oblivion?
Coakley looks at her with a smirk, suddenly sighs, and theatrically shakes her head.
Hear that, Thistle? This is the kindred spirit you fought so hard to save.
The light comes on, revealing an injured assassin behind the screen. She's about the same age as Christina, covered in wound, and her face alternating between pale and bruised. The stains on her body eerily similar to Christina. I guess she must be the one that saved Christina through this whole event and brought her back because she kind of felt like she was similar to her or something. Oh, Thistle must be the sister.
What?
Yeah, that's definitely the wheelchair sister. But Coakley doesn't answer any more of Christina's question. Instead, she turns to look at Thistle, her face full of mockery.
You went to great lengths to pull her out of the pile of corruptors, thinking that shared experiences would breed empathy. But in her eyes, you're just a bastard. Your kindness is misplaced. If she knew how you're so infatuated, would a few shed tears and kind words from her make you hand over everything about the Garden in a crying mess?
Thistle doesn't dare look at Coakley. She just glares at Christina, her eyes filled with anger, shame, and regret.
I'm sorry, Mentor. Forgive me.
Wait, where are her wounds exactly? I don't see them. But the apology only makes the mentors even angrier.
Pathetic. I've told you before, stop caring about others so much. Now what are you crying and whining for? Do you want me to say, "Oh, it's okay, I forgive you," so you can feel better? You act on your own, break my rules, bring the enemy into our base, and expect me to care about your feelings? Am I your mommy?
Oh, please. Please do not use that word.
What a pain. What little time I have for rest has been ruined by you and the dirty thing you brought back. Solitary confinement. You're not allowed out until I cool down.
Wait!
Krishna struggles to yell not at Kokolik but at the garden's assassin who was about to cry. He stops in her track and turns around sharply. Christina certainly doesn't know what to say. Did you save me? Thank you. Is your family also with the FSC? I'm sorry, didn't mean that. You shouldn't stay with this kind of woman. I'll take you away. Before she can figure it out, the assassin speaks first.
You should have died there, you domesticated scum.
Thistle leaves, leaving Christina collapsed on the floor with Kokolik standing by, taking pleasure in her misfortune.
See, she's also a family member of the FAC, and also lost everything in NF-103. But she didn't have your connections. When she sought help from so-called justice, she only received resounding slaps in the face. So, she came to me.
And then, you took advantage of her. It started with the underground, and then you all deceive and exploit these wounded people under the guise of vengeance. You turn them into weapons that harm others when they have nothing left. Even if her original life was destroyed, people are resilient. She could have slowly recovered, slowly returned to normal. But you lured her into darkness, and she can never go back.
As soon as she finished speaking, Kokolik kicks Christina hard in the stomach. The injured detective crashes into a door pillar. Several sharp objects pierce Christina's body. Her consciousness immediately becomes chaotic. She only feels something pressing against her head, squeezing hard.
Stop yapping. Is what the hush gave you some kind of noble justice, and what I give is brainwashing with hatred? Who are you looking down on? I know exactly what kind of person you are. You don't have the ability to take revenge on this world on your own, so you cling to the most hollow things as a lifeline. People like you are the easiest to deceive. The dumbest and the weakest. If it weren't for the need to give that idiot Thistle a dose of reality, I wouldn't even bother to look at you. The Garden won't believe your righteous talk. It won't believe any of you. Everything that demands submission in the name of love and nobility is a filthy lie. All sacrifices made for these extraneous things are proof of ignorance. Those who dare to harm us must be punished by our own hands. This is the only way to personally take back what they took from me.
So, what is this now? This series of cases. Who are you taking revenge on?
I've personally settled my deep hatred and grudge a long time ago. I'm free. And everything I do now is what I enjoy. As for what I'm going to do, pass the message to your owner. Let her play with me. That must be why she sent you here.
So again, she's not gonna kill Christina.
After all, it's not like anyone really expects you to solve the case.
Makes sense, considering how Shalom is. She doesn't really expect her to do anything. Several thin needles suddenly fly out, piercing Christina's body. That must be Grofano.
Relax. This is just a little body recovery agent, with a little bit of a stimulant to help with your state of mind. To help you escape from here. As long as you don't remember the way back, I won't take your life. Run. Don't die on the way. The show's not over yet. I'm waiting for you to help raise the curtain.
Victory, and let's move on.